I don't think there are very few entrepreneurs out there, or there are very many entrepreneurs out there that don't work hard enough. I think most are putting 8 to 10 to 12-hour days in. That's not the issue. It's not the fact that you're not putting enough time in, it's what you're focusing on. And this took me, I've been a very productive person for a very long time, in my opinion. But it took me a long time, probably until the last year, to make sure I'm working on the right things. And one of the things I've been doing is trying to reduce the amount of things that I work on. By that, I'm trying to take on less responsibilities in my business, trying to make sure if I'm the best person for content, I'm going to be the person that does all the content. I personally don't think I'm actually the best person for content in our business. However, it's one of the main roles that I have right now. So that's a role that I'm taking on. But in terms of what are the things that my sweet spots? For me personally, one of my sweet spots is building community, building relationships. So I do a lot of our sales calls. I do a lot of our mastermind events. I'm the person putting those on because I'm really good at making relationships, building a connection with somebody, and in that conversation, showing them how much value I'm willing to add to their life just by being in their life. That's a strength of mine. Today we're going to do another solo cast for the Brotherhood Beyond Business podcast. Today we're going to talk about why you're stuck even though you're working so hard. This can be in every aspect of being an entrepreneur. This can be in your weight loss. This can be in your business. This can be in your faith. There's so many categories you can be stuck even though you're really putting a lot of effort into it. So let's start on the business side of it and work into the other domains from there. So first thing on the business side is it's so easy to feel stuck. It really is. It's stressful in so many ways because you work so hard and there's so much advice out there. There's so many gurus out there that tell you do it this way, do it that way. I honestly don't have one way or another that's better for you to do it. I'm not going to sit here and say, here's the routine to follow. I have my own routines that have taken years to develop. It's taken a long time to figure out what those are. And the other thing that has taken a long time to figure out what are the right metrics for me to track. You can go with all the ones from your CAC to your LTV, and understanding all those different like acronym based metrics, right? Super important to know. I do think those are basic metrics for your business. However, what I'm talking about is how to understand if you're putting the right amount of effort into the right places. And so I think for me, what this comes down to is, I don't know if you've ever read the book called Chop Wood, Carry Water, but in my opinion, it's finding your chop wood and your carry water activities. So what are the basic habits that you need to do day in and day out in your business that move your business forward? What are the strengths that you have? What are the real areas that you can make progress on that you're the world's best at? What can you put your effort in every single day to move that forward? So in this sense, it's working smarter, not exactly harder. I don't think there are very few entrepreneurs out there, or there are very many entrepreneurs out there that don't work hard enough. I think most are putting 8 to 10 to 12-hour days in. That's not the issue. It's not the fact that you're not putting enough time in, it's what you're focusing on. And this took me, I've been a very productive person for a very long time, in my opinion. But it took me a long time, probably until the last year, to make sure I'm working on the right things. And one of the things I've been doing is trying to reduce the amount of things that I work on. By that, I'm trying to take on less responsibilities in my business, trying to make sure, okay, if I'm the best person for content, I'm going to be the person that does all the content. I personally don't think I'm actually the best person for content in our business. However, it's one of the main roles that I have right now. So that's a role that I'm taking on. But in terms of what are the things that my sweet spots? For me personally, one of my sweet spots is building community, building relationships. So I do a lot of our sales calls. I do a lot of our mastermind events. I'm the person putting those on because I'm really good at making relationships, building a connection with somebody, and in that conversation, showing them how much value I'm willing to add to their life just by being in their life. That's a strength of mine. I need to find more ways to put that value out to the world, and that's one of the ways I can work smarter in my business, not harder. So one of my chop wood, carry water habits is to continue to do activities in our business that build community and make us a world-class service. So what are those activities? From week to week, they're actually quite different. It's not something that's like, I always do this one thing every single day. In different aspects of my life, I do have that. So, for example, physical dominance, it's like getting my ruck in and my lift in every single day. Those are two chop wood, carry water habits that move my life forward in that category. For business, is not that. It's not like, hey, I'm going to shoot content every Tuesday. Even though that is my routine, that's not my most important chop wood, carry water habits. From week to week, it really comes down to, I would say if I had to say one chop wood, carry water habit, it's at the end of every week doing a weekly review and setting up the next week for success. Because then I know what's the right thing to be focusing on and where in the time blocks, like priority blocks, am I making sure that I'm working on world-class service activities? So I have roughly 16 hours a week dedicated to that. So that would be a chop wood carry water habit, is having 16 hours. It doesn't have to be exactly that number, but time dedicated every single week to world-class service projects, because that's where I strive. That's where I can do the best. So even though it feels like I know I'm working the same amount of hours, honestly, in certain ways, I'm probably working less hours now than I used to work. Mainly because I have more dedicated time to other priorities in terms of like my fitness is a big priority right now. So I've had to reduce a little work time, which is worth it because it's an important priority. But for me in business, because I've taken a reduction there, now I'm going to be more focused on my business. But when I'm focused on the right tasks, I actually make a lot of progress in those. So it's auditing things, it's consistently auditing your life with your business to making sure that you are working on the things that you're strong at. What are your best possible fit strengths? Way easier said than done, because a lot of times we'll have so many responsibilities that we take on. And I think part of the issue is you need to reduce the total amount of responsibilities you have. You don't need to be everything to everybody. What I mean by that is just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. Because you can improve a product, does that product need to be improved? Is that product you should be selling in your business? That happened a lot to me in the beginning of Level Up, our main business. It's a software SaaS company, and so we could do anything with it. It was literally anything. And so because we could do anything, we are trying to do everything for everybody. But then we're able to narrow it down to focus on home services. Then we narrowed it even down to plumbers and focusing on helping them dominate the Google game. So we're able to really narrow those services and be really, really good in detail in those. Yes, I can still build websites for other companies. We can do a lot of things out there. And do we have a little time dedicated that into our schedule every week? Yes. But it's a very small thing and we don't promote it at all. We don't market it. That's all coming from referral based. Because I knew if I spent time out there trying to do those other things, I would never really make progress and I'd be spinning my tires all the time. So in your business, find clarity in what your real role is. Look at the other things that you could be eliminating that you spend so much time a week doing. Is like, does it make any real progress? Yes, there are things that get done, but does it actually make any real progress towards your business growing or getting to the level you want to get to? So another category we'll go through, I'm not going to go through every single domain, but another category that a lot of people, entrepreneurs are working on is their health and fitness. So what are the things you're tracking in these? What are the areas you're improving? How can you work hard? Because you are probably working hard. Maybe you're not working hard enough, but you're probably working hard. And how do we make those better? It's finding those right chop wood carry water habits. So for the most part, for a lot of people, it's going to be your nutrition. It's going to be your fitness, right? Can you find a type of fitness that you really enjoy that you could do every single day? It was just a 30-minute walk, right? When I say walk, I'm just talking about a simple backpack walk, right? Can I do a 30-minute walk every day? Get that walk in, and then from there, make sure that my macros, my nutrition are dialed in so that I'm in a calorie deficit, right? Or depending on whatever diet that you follow. But making sure that you're following the rules of what that diet style is, okay? So figuring out those, and then you can make progress there. So the whole idea of this conversation is like, how can I continue to make progress even though I'm working really hard? Because hard work, you can't just continue to work harder. There's really no such thing as working harder. You're working as hard as you can. You kind of maximize that. I think for most entrepreneurs, it's probably not that you need to work harder. We need to continue to find ways to optimize the current work that we're doing. So in business, find the right things for us to do. In fitness, find the weakness. Find the area, your physical dominance. Find the weakness that you have. What's the area that you fall off the most? Strengthen that up. So I think in business, it's actually making your strengths stronger. And in fitness, it's making your weaknesses less of a weakness. Because if you have a hole at the bottom of the funnel and it just keeps on leaking out of it, and it's not going to be able to do that, you need to be able to close it off with both our health, our fitness, our sleep, and our nutrition taken care of. And let's go over one more category, just family man. So in family man, it might be the fact that you're an amazing dad. You crush it on the dad side. You do everything you're supposed to do. But as a husband, you kind of suck at that. Like you don't give your wife any attention. You don't give her any private time. You both do everything for the kids, but you kind of forget about each other. Well, I mean, it's understanding the different roles that you have as a family man. So for me, I only have two roles: a husband and a father. The father is to a dog, though, a dog father. So super simple in terms of that. I mean, I say simple in terms of like it's not like having kids, but he does demand a lot of attention. He doesn't demand a lot of things. Regardless, I'm not going to make an argument that that part of my life is hard. But you need to make sure that you make attention for those different things. So for Duke, I always make sure that he gets 30 minutes of my time. Usually gets a 30-minute walk as well. So 30 minutes of play, 30 minutes of walk. And then he also gets some dedicated time at the end of the night when I'm just watching TV. So he gets his full attention. And I mean, we have obviously we have a great relationship. It's just a dog, but the idea is like he knows his time limits and he doesn't bother me during the rest of the day because he knows these are the times that's going to get me. For my wife needs a lot of my time, needs a lot of my focus. I mean, she is my main focus in my family life. And so because of that, I want to make sure that I do the right things. I'm focusing on those. So for you, what are those right things? It could be maybe you're a great husband, not a great father. Maybe I usually put uh, extended family, like son, brother, and stuff, kind of in the deep relationships category. But you could technically, if you don't have any kids, or if you're not married, or if you're only married, maybe don't have any other responsibilities there, you can always put, I want to be a great son, I want to be a great brother as well. You put those in the family categories. So if that's true, then what are you lacking in those categories? What improvements could you make there too? So it's continue to not work harder. It's continue to find ways to slow down and zoom out. Take a 30,000-foot view of your life, seeing what you want to improve in the different domains that you have, finding their strengths or weaknesses. Each category can be different. Like I said, in business, I'm looking to make my strengths stronger. I'm trying to really focus on the things I'm good at because there's so many areas out there. But with my fitness, there's only a few areas that are really important. So I need to check my weaknesses because there's only really three areas that, in my opinion, matter for specifically for weight loss or strength gain. Um, and so because of those, like I need the weaknesses to really show up a lot more. So I want to really narrow that down. And when it comes to being a family man, I want to make sure that all the things are equal across the board because I don't want to have anybody have less attention than the other. So all through the different domains, you can go through that and figure it out for your life. So really think about how the fact that wherever you're stuck in any domain, focus on the things that you can do, even though you're working hard, how to be smarter in each category. I hope this is helpful in certain ways. Every day.
Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay locked in. Brotherhood is more than business. It's about leading from the front, leveling up in every domain, and becoming the CEO of your own life. Step up, execute, and we'll see you in the next one.